find the delegation.
Oh, my head hurts.
I was more or less probably
10 minutes.
I remember
Oh, yeah, no,
the atmosphere of one, they were just walking down the alley, walking into the city, and so joyful. Just incredible. Like, I'm at my campus, like,
Hold on, I just need to like send out the link.
But, so you can go out with you. Hopefully, 2024.
What's the person's email?
But that won't happen.
It's too chill. Like that? Pratik S. Das Melch. Okay, I need to send it to myself. Here you go. Huh? Yeah.
Was there any college options? Oh.
Nate is the one who
There isn't like a name. Oh, ours.
had
Yes.
Did you get her?
Yeah, I have it. And I actually have a remote set of orders.
I wonder if this table was the original table. You move this thing around. Also, not the
Are you desperate for it? Right now, I'm dead for this and that, and you know, I can take care of all this.
It's good sounding back in the room, Chloe. You should probably get a sound back there.
I've been here, but I've been like in and out of area. So I was just here for like essentially coffee and not just place.
I see. Jet setting, definitely.
I just don't know what.
Oh, no, it's fine.
But you know, that's just.
It's in Good. How are you?
What's the name of my finals?
Yeah, is it Wednesday?
Yes, okay, it's literally.
Yeah. Yeah. Hi Chloe, how's it going?
When do you leave for finals? You seem super busy.
Me? No, I'm just setting up the USAC live. I don't have finals. I work here. No, like I work here.
You're right.
I think it's live. Yeah, just I guess check the link that I sent in the group chat.
I think we'll log into YouTube. Oh, yeah, you're live right now.
Can you see? Can you see? Oh, that's interesting.
And so since we have to pick this,
You,
we have to
my one viewer.
so like from Friday until Sunday morning, I just had no reception.
Can you comment?
And so I felt really bad. Like I couldn't, so many people that get their messages, and then feels like we're seriously therapist meeting, so I put myself in, and like, that was a hot mess this week. I was so nervous. Yeah, it was just a lot.
I'm so mad.
It was just a lot.
My grandmother's all bad.
So it's been a lot, but I'm hoping that soon, because like we formally are trying to get Monday, and we're just I'm still doing this.
Everyone just seems super overwhelmed.
Like professional.
No, it's not that hard. I'm just like,
Everyone seems like they're loose.
oh, someone's here.
Oh, hey. Hi, Nicole.
No.
Pratik's in there, Pratik.
Hey, Jack. Hey, Justin. How are you?
Very well. How about yourself?
Good, good. Thanks.
International meetings.
Seven.
Jim's here.
Yeah, he's definitely here.
And Aaron, I think, said he got stuck in traffic. He's on his way.
How much time
I don't know. She's been traveling. She all of a sudden is in LA, but then she's like in Venezuela or like
Right.
And I'm like, oh, okay. She doesn't have like a set time for vacation. It's just kind of like
I love it.
critique. Oh,
Yeah, Nicole.
I was gonna.
Yeah, I'm good.
Oh, I'd be like, make sure to be on mute, like when you're not speaking, but like you got it because you just went on mute.
Yeah. No. I was just on mute, actually.
Okay.
Wow. That's fantastic.
And then, like the minute I was gonna tell him, he like cut the.
So this is like a microphone for you?
No, it's for digital recorders. Which is just like backup. Because sometimes you're not able to do it on water supply. And then the speakers.
I wonder if this is new technology or if it's, okay, I'm like, and she shot a ride, literally, I'm talking about you.
Chloe, also like you've been literally everywhere. Like I don't even know when you're in LA because
Yeah, I was in that for training, so yeah, we were in the mountains this weekend for a retreat, so that's.
where did you go for RA retreat?
Yeah, we were kind of some mountain away from Big Bird. We had like no reception.
We went to Arrowhead.
Areas to go to.
We were like a nice cabin, or was it like?
Ours was nice. It was like retro, but like nice. Oh, it was good.
Huh.
I'm sure it was tough to not have service for that long, but like also I'm so jealous.
feel like it'd be nice to like have your phone like permanently turned off. 1, 2, 3. Okay, baby, 4 minutes. Oh, wait, for this to stop. Then we'll start.
I'm like racing right now. The broom bash stuff is up right now. It went up as of 30 seconds.
Yay!
Oh my gosh, that's exciting.
The what?
The event is like up and like all the like logistics in terms of what's happening today is up.
I'm super excited.
My
I don't want any
heart
spoilers at all. I just want to show it. If I get a wristband.
All right, and with that, we're going to call this meeting to order. It's 7 p.m. Hope everyone had a wonderful week. You know, we did a meeting last week. So we're going to begin with the vocal roll call of attendance. Please say here if you are here. President, present. IVP, EVP,
Here.
Gen Rep 1,
Here.
Gen Rep 2,
Here.
welcome back, Gen Rep 3,
Present.
AAC, CEC,
Here.
CSC,
Here.
welcome back to CAC,
Here.
Facilities, FSC, SWC, and TSR. All right. We're now going to move on to the approval of the agenda. Are there any amendments to the agenda? All right, so we'll leave the officer member reports for those who haven't yet come there. Welcome, Zara. Hopefully they will make it. We are going to strike the approval of the minutes from the agenda. Our minutes taker is not here yet, so we're still waiting for those to be written. And thank you to the ASCCLA staff who've been filling in those gaps for us. And we're also removing the bylaw change for SCOF funding because the bylaw change wasn't submitted to begin with. So hopefully we can approve that very soon. That means that offices that are receiving their funding from SCOF will have to wait another week to do so. And I think Jessica's going to provide some updates about that as well. Attendance. So let me see if there's anything else we need to do. Okay, that's it. Can we now see a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
I move to approve the agenda as amended.
Thank you, Justin. Second? Chloe, seconded by Chloe. Thank you. Want to go through the vocal roll call for the vote. Beginning with EVP.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. Gen Rep 1,
Yes.
Gen Rep 2,
Yes.
Gen Rep 3,
Yep.
AAC, yes, it should be on.
I don't have that. I already read it.
It's also on the screen. We've just stricken the minutes and the SCOF bylaw change.
Old business.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you. CEC?
No.
CSC?
No.
CAC? Facilities?
Yes.
And that is it. For those who are present, seeing as all council members who have voting rights today have voted affirmatively, this motion passes and our agenda has been approved. We are now going to move into our public comment section of our meeting. There are 30 minutes allotted for public comment. Every public commenter will be allotted 2 minutes. The first round of public comment will be audio only. Second round will be audio and video. So if we can now cut out the video so we can begin public comment. And we will begin public comment at 7:04 p.m. Just get this set up really quick. Beginning here. Great, seeing none, we're now going to move on to the section of audio and video public comment. Anyone over here? Great, seeing none, we are now going to conclude our public comment portion of the meeting at 7:05 p.m. We are now going to move into special presentations. We have a presentation on pending housing developments by UCLA, and we have Assistant Vice Chancellor Pete Angelos here. Thank you so much for joining us. You'll have 15 minutes for your presentation. I believe we have the PowerPoint ready to go. And after that, will be followed up with a 5-minute question and answer from the council. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. For another round of applause.
Circle, you can sit right. Yeah.
Thank you for having me. I'll speak quickly because I want to cover a lot of information possible. We'll show a series of slides here, and we'll start with talking about the need, the housing need, and overview of our program. And then we'll show you the proposed sites we're exploring for development for undergraduate housing. And I've scheduled all the time at the end to answer any questions you may have. This slide probably is the most informative. If you look here, in 2004, 2005, we started the 3-1 guarantee, 3 years for incoming freshmen, 1 year for transfers. And you can see in red here the number of students who are housing on campus, and this is approximately about 10,000 to about 7,000. You have off-campus apartment inventory in green, and total enrollment in blue. And over the years, you can see enrollment has increased. And fortunately, so has our housing for students on campus, and to some degree our housing for off-campus apartments. And right now, because of the enrollment increase, although we've got almost double the housing available in inventory, we've only increased the number of students that we can house relative to over-enrollment by 33%. Right now, we have about 97% of our first-year students are freshmen. We still offer the 3-1 guarantee, and I'll speak briefly on graduate students. We have some 3,400 graduate students, and we're still roughly 1,000 beds short for grad student demand. And one point to note is the marketplace that we're in. Westwood has only a 2.8% vacancy rate. It's the highest apartment rates in Los Angeles is Westwood. It's because of the number of people they're putting into each bedroom. Our big picture on this is that we want to secure housing and protect future generations of Bruins from paying full market rent. We don't charge full market rent. We charge month-to-month contracts for almost all of our inventory. And we're not here to make a profit. We're here to protect, to provide us beds for students that want to stay with us and do it as low a cost as possible, and especially over the long term. Has approximately 60% of our undergrads in university-owned housing. This fall, we're going to be at 82% triples on the Hill. 82% triples. I've been with UCLA for 11 years now. This is the most we've ever had in triples. And we think that the equilibrium for triples, where people are selecting triples for economics or for the social aspect of it, is probably around 60%. So we need to try to build enough inventory to get it down to what we think we need that equilibrium. And then reduce the graduate bed shortfall. And then not only do we want to build beds, we need to think about the community. We fortunately built a pretty robust dining program. So what you're going to see in the increased developments that we look to bring on the Hill, our dining program can absorb those numbers. But we still need more short study space. So we need to try to keep adding some study space. Unfortunately, we built BFIT, so we're addressing some of the fitness needs. And looking at the use of BFIT, we think we're right. We're still pretty good on where we're at with that. And we want to be able to do all this without increasing our student housing fees by more than 4%. The last decade, we've averaged 2.5% every year. Our target is not to ever exceed 3%. The only variable that we can't control, and the main variable we can't control, that will be the bids, how the bids come back for these construction projects. But we're pretty optimistic. I think reasonably so that we should be able to, a long-term debt model, we think that we'll be able to do this without ever having to increase our housing fees by more than 3%. So these are the 5 sites that are being explored. The 3 in blue are the undergraduate sites. This is lot 15, in that area, lot 15. This is Drake Stadium site. This is Bradley Hillside, the hillside below Bradley. That would be the undergraduate area. And then originally thought as a graduate area was, I'm sorry, not graduate. This is all undergraduate, also up for undergraduates, but in apartment inventory, not dorm style inventory, is the UNEX site, where the University Extension is located in Westwood on Daly, and Warren Hall, the Warren Hall site, which is within Weyburn Terrace. We, on our entitlement for the EII, we secured an entitlement for 6,900 beds total on these 5 sites, and we're hoping to get at least 4,500 beds on the 3 sites which I'll walk you through, which are first up on our development aspirations. So the first one's lot 15. If you're all familiar with that location, if not, everybody's familiar with lot 15. So lot 15, here's Deneb, Saxon. You know where Saxon is, right? So Saxon, Hitch, it's right between Saxon and Hitch, and we call it the Blue Goose. It's like a maintenance building in this area. So we're looking at this whole development site here. And that's this is what's called a massing study. So it's what we call kind of like a Sprouted Landing up on the hill, those new style dorms, a little bit bigger, air conditioning, but they're dorm inventory. But this one's pretty unique about this development is we look at designing it to house triples. The dorms that we have were originally designed for doubles, but you could also use it convert it to a triple. We want to design it from the worst case, they're all triple, just design it as triple. So you have more showers, more sinks, more toilets, more lounge space, more study space, all this, assuming the highest density use of the building. And if it scales back to 60% or so, at least we have the highest density plan. The program in it would be dorm beds, and the higher density of triple design. We've got more showers, bathrooms. We want to build in an extension, like Hendrick Study has been such a success. We've gotten such good feedback on watching its use. We think there's a need for another type of study venue, maybe with not food and beverage with it, but we got an idea what we're talking about. But being able to provide a nice study space, they're still going to get coffee, snacks, something like that while they're studying. Laundry for each building, so you don't have to go building to building to get laundry done. And then we're looking at developing within the program, working with Res Life on building and providing a makerspace, or incubator lab or makerspace, which provides the newest technology, newest things, 3D printers, things like that, for students interested in learning more about those type of things. And then music study rooms that are sound insulated. That's all part of the program. So this is Deneb. If you're coming down from Lot 11 on Deneb, this is these aren't what the buildings will look like. This is a massing study, so just kind of an idea of what the scale of the building will look like. If you're coming from Weber Circle, and you walk down Weber Circle, there will be a bridge. Once you cross Deneb, there'll be a bridge to take you into this area where these res halls are. If you make a right at the end of the bridge, you'll come across this area. And right now, on the way it's being designed, we're thinking of a big vending area where we take Hendrick Study, and this is not 100% sure if this is what we're trying to make happen. We take the Hendrick Study, a lot of the product are sandwiches, salads, snacks, things that can be held under refrigerated temperature. And we'll have a vending like you would see in Japan, the vending style with the glass front, refrigerated. Use your brewing card, you can take coffee, beverage, snacks, and stuff like that. And then come into this 3-level study area, which is like Hendrick Study, but glass enclosed with all natural land. This will be more hill. This is very rough, like it's massive. Picture this 3-level library study area with different types of study spaces and like growth. That's lot 15. And then this is Warren Hall. I don't know if you know where Warren Hall is in Waverly Terrace. So this is interesting. This is all the grad housing area with quite a few grads. And then we have University Extension here and Warren Hall here. When Warren gets developed, we're looking at 3 buildings that ties to the architecture of Waverly Terrace around it. And this one building that's furthest facing west would be the grad building. Okay, and we're looking at, I'll show you the type of bedroom units we're looking at. These are all apartments. These other 2 would be undergrad, upper class and then undergrad. So Res Life would have to work with us to try to make these 2 communities still be in harmony, because they're different groups, but upperclassmen and grads, and we have some shared spaces and some private spaces for the 2 communities. The unit type is our first time we've ever tried this. It's a 4-bedroom unit with 4 bedrooms, 2 bath, a kitchen, and a living room area. And in the grad setup, it's 1 bedroom, 1 bed in each bedroom. And in the undergrad setup, it's 2 beds in each bedroom.
Just to let you know, you've got a little bit less than 4 minutes left.
Okay, I'm almost done. So the similar type of program, including bike parking and some storage we want to be able to provide. And then this is the last site. The unit site, it's the current building, the Unix building in Westwood, across from Bushi and the gas station, right there. And then, all undergraduate housing, all 2-bedroom, it's a high rise, it's our first high rise, we haven't built high rise yet. All 2-bedroom, 3 beds, so 2 bedrooms, 6 bed, living room, kitchen, right next to Westwood, all undergrads, and study space on the ground floor, some vending, bike parking that's covered, some more storage area, and lots of common study space within this building on the ground floor level. So the schedule, all of these buildings would begin in 2018, roughly. Lot 15 and 1, we're targeting completion before fall of 2021. New information is lot 15 in Unix by fall 2021. It will be fall 2022 because the building has gotten larger than we originally anticipated. We found more beds to be able to put on that site, and we want to have a competitive bid. So we want to stage these out to bid, so if one person doesn't get the project, they can bid, but one company doesn't get the project, they can bid on the next. So we're going to stagger the bids out. And I made it look
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. So we're going to now go into a 5-minute question and answer period with the council. Does anybody have any questions? Yeah, Chloe. Oh, sorry.
What about the students that you're displacing in lot 15 for the students that do park there?
I'm sorry.
For your plans of lot 15, there are a number of students that park within that lot. Do you have another lot that you're going to create that are going to be able to supplement the people that you're displacing from parking? And also, like with the plans of moving to have more buildings within places that are existing parking structure, what's UCLA's plan as a whole to make sure that those students that park there are able to have a spot somewhere?
Okay, so parking and housing is intricately intertwined, but in a good way, I think. As we build more beds that are within walking distance of campus, less students drive to campus. So from a sustainability perspective, and I can say this in the fact that lot 15 just mentioned with the student parking, we bought that parking lot out 4 or 5 years ago. And right now, if you go to it, there's storage trailers which are handling maintenance parts. So those parking spaces have now been in effect. The number of trips in the campus, the trip count in the campus, last I heard, was since we've been doing all this development, is at 1990 levels. last I read, 1990 levels. And that's because there's students that can live within walking distance of campus. We can build parking, could happen. To do it, there's no way we'd be able to keep the rents and the fees as low as we can. Parking is very, very expensive. And on top of all this, we have a subway now due to open in Westwood that will open in 2028, before 2028. So that'll change the driving demand. And we have one of the best public transit hubs right in Westwood. So parking is not right now on the being built within any of these projects other than the required ADA or service level or loading, unloading type of parking.
What is the cost for students to live within those? Because I don't want to challenge your notion of students that are able to commute are able to now live closer to campus. Because I think for some students, that's not something that they can do. And to also challenge your point on Lot 15, I know a number of students that still purchase permits that like still park there. And it's been full from a number of times that I've been there, it's been full, regardless of the stationary vehicles that are parked.
I think just making it Lot 15. But you know, I would have to defer parking for the person who oversees parking and transportation. I really don't. It's not my purview. And that person's has quite a wealth of information as to believe that we should be building without parking and trying to encourage people to take public transportation versus urban like this. I want to save about time if I can for questions I can't answer.
So Chloe, and then it's on Lisa.
I had a couple questions. So the first is, does a 3% fee increase account for inflation?
Sorry?
Does a 3% fee increase account for inflation?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Comes for everything.
Okay. And then the other question is, so Ned and I are both going through RA training right now, and one of the things that I was told today is that UCLA Housing has been exploring options for low-income housing for students who maybe can't pay the full price of housing as it is. So do you know anything about those plans?
Yeah, we're piloting something kind of, we took one building on Daily Hills, Western Chateau, and a portion of that building is getting densified. And by the percentage that it's being densified, like if you have a bedroom with 2 beds, it could become 4 beds, but the rents are dropping proportionally. And we offered it out. We had originally planned 2 buildings to do that with. We offered it out, but we only had enough demand to fill 1 building. So that told us something there. And we want to do what students want that. So if this is a successful pilot and we offer out a 2nd building next summer, you know, we want to house as many students that want to stay with us as possible. We have to do it in a safe and satisfying manner for their experience. So if we get feedback that they like it, it works, then we'll expand that program. If we don't, we might cap it to the 1 building or shrink it back.
You struck the rent rates have been dramatically reduced by $500 a month.
Yeah, it's about 500, roughly, maybe 450, 480. So it's about close to $500 a month for rent in Westwood. But it's tight quarters. It's tight, but it's inexpensive.
We've got like a little bit over a minute or 2 left, so Malik and Nicole, let's try to keep the questions shorter so we can get more time in.
So just talking about the subject of low income housing, do you have, or do you all have any plans that you've already explored and like maybe reducing the cost of current housing?
The problem, the trade-off there is if you reduce the cost of current housing, you don't have the funds to build new housing. So we're trying to walk that fine line to still grow the housing so we can accommodate every student that wants to stay with us. Because if we don't build those beds, they have to go into the marketplace to go find housing. And that marketplace in Los Angeles continues to get hotter and hotter. And we're trying to look at the big picture of accommodate as many, ultimate goal is as many students, be able to accommodate every student who wants to stay at university, provide the housing to be able to provide the beds at different price points for university housing.
And so when the housing is done, you can do it since the price of the housing is being used, I guess, to fund these projects, will it eventually ever decrease over time?
Well, as I said, the last 10 years, we've done 2.5%. I don't think any university over a 10 years.
2.5% decrease.
No, 2.5% increase every year. We have inflationary pressures. We have represented staff in wages that go up. when the contracts go up. Food costs, there's inflation in everything, so you need a little bit of something to cover inflation. And the biggest inflation pressure we are concerned about right now is the cost of construction. The cost of construction is quite steep right now.
And if you look at the recent survey of UC housing, we're actually less expensive than housing in, for instance, Riverside, which has, very low density, very low land costs, lower cost overall, a little less expensive for housing, like university-owned housing than Riverside is.
It was so expensive, and I'm seeing about like the demographic people that attend the school, it's so super expensive. But I think it's like great to compare schools, it's kind of hard to compare two schools, and they have different demographics, but I get your point.
Yeah, well, that's why we introduced the really low, the $500 rate room. And that's something that we're willing to explore and expand on based on the demand. Like you said, we rolled it out this year, expecting to do 2 buildings. There was only enough demand for 1. But we're willing to continue to look at that as additional awareness becomes available, if that's an option, and continue to look at that.
Nicole's hand is up next. This will be our last question for this Q&A period. Okay, this is kind of like a multi-part question, but so for the building that wasn't necessarily in demand, so that they just filled 1 building, what organization do you work with to what organization did you work with of students that were in need of low income housing? Is PATH for us one of them? And then
That was all spirit by Riz Life.
Oh, okay. Oh, another thing. So within that building, what is it? Is it like an apartment style building?
It's apartment.
So how many students are put into an apartment? And is it 2-bedroom, or can you break that down?
Yeah, they're mostly 2-bedroom units that were 2-bedroom, 2 beds, so 2-bedroom, 4 beds within a 2-bedroom unit, and they're now being converted to 2-bedroom, 8 beds. There's half a
So
building, I
there's-
believe it's about 100, I think it's something like that.
So 8 students per apartment?
8 students.
Because that's just concerning, because it's just a very small space and it's housing a lot of students. And I understand that's how you get the cost to be reduced, but is there any other way to continue to subsidize the cost of housing without sticking so many students into a small
We
area?
have to build, we've got 82% of our students in triples this next year.
Okay. So
we're-
they're okay.
It's as tight as we can get it. The key is getting these developments built so that we have more beds, give us more flexibility. But my favorite line is the University World, 1 quarter in business. When they talk about 1 quarter in business, well, it's 90 days. For us, it's 25 years. So we talk about affordable housing. Eventually, like Dykstra, Sproul, Henry, Reber, those buildings are paid off. There's no more debt service on them. Over the years, over the decades going forward, these buildings will be paid off, and then we're going to have a golden opportunity. If there's no more increases in enrollment, which we've seen, we would have made a great ground on what percentage of our students we're able to house right now. The enrollment's been going up. So we don't know how that will go going forward, but there's a lot of variables in play that determine the economics of this.
We also have to look at the total cost, so all of our units are furnished. And it's also 9-month rent, where in the private sector, you get 12-month rent, and you have to purchase your own furniture. And so if you look at it from that perspective, actually, university housing is somewhere between 20 and 30% less than market. And that's our objective, is to try and maintain that over time.
You got Wi-Fi included, utilities included. And then one of the things we do too, I think, relative to the private sector, every student has their own contract. In the private sector, I've had children went through, or kids, my daughter and son went through college, and when you do an apartment there, you're on the hook, or some parent, some family, some student is on the hook for who their roommates are, because the landlord will only take 1 contract for that unit. That's another advantage of how we do it, it's just every student has their own contract, so you're in a group of 6 people in an apartment, and one of them, for whatever reason, is not paying, or has issues, or not paying, the others are not on the hook for that student's contract. Private sector, it's not always that easy, it's more difficult to extricate yourself from that.
Thank you so much. That is the end of our Q&A period, unless we'd like to extend it, which we can, but that will involve formal motion.
Just by 1 minute.
1 minute, we got a second? Do you have more than one question, maybe? Maybe we'll just say 5, just so that we have enough time. So there is there a
I'm
formal
going
motion?
to expand question Q&A by 5 minutes.
Okay, that's 5 minutes.
Second.
Thank you, Malik. We're gonna go through and do vocal roll calls one more time. EVP,
Yes.
Gen Rep 1,
Yes.
Gen Rep 2,
Yes.
Gen Rep 3,
Yes.
AAC, CEC. So it's a motion to add 5 more minutes to question. CSC,
Yes.
CAC,
Yes.
facilities,
Yes.
FSC.
Yes.
Okay, seeing as all the council members have voted affirmatively, we will sustain that motion and add an additional 5 minutes. And Justin, leave your hands up and then we'll go to Zara.
Just a quick multi-part question. So, really quick, what was the triple index for last year's triples? And also, are professional staff still going for the campaign of like embracing the triple mindset? Oh, they are. Yes. Okay.
So last, I think we were in the low 70s percentage, and now we're at 82 this year. The kind of what you're seeing is freshmen coming in is going to be a rite of passage for a while until we get more inventory that they'll be in a triple. But it's interesting, we were finding a lot of students, even after they finish their freshman year, still apply to water because of the economics, and some of them like the social experience of having an extra person that they're very close friends with. So we're kind of really looking at what they select and what kind of inventory they want. And that's why our dorm style, high rise, newer dorm building is our highest demanded product on the hill. That's what students want.
And Zara?
Yeah, so correct me if I'm wrong, but the lot 15 building, it was said that it's going to be designed for triples. What does it mean for the building to be designed for triples? And then as with these buildings, a lot of doubles were eventually shifted over to triples. Would the same thing be happening here where triples would be shifted into one?
Yeah, the hard part when you have a building designed for doubles that you triple up is you don't necessarily have this the proper number of showers. People have to wait a little longer for showers, toilets, sinks. The study space may not be sufficient on that floor. So when you design it for a triple, all those numbers get grossed up, your square footage of study space, your number of showers, your number of toilets, sinks, that it keeps in relationship to the number of students that are in that building.
So it's going to be the same.
The room size is very, almost the same as what we see at Sprout. And the room size, those rooms were designed to take that extra bunk, the furniture, but it's the things outside of the room that really change. And it's not, they are bigger than they are at Dykstra, the original 4 buildings. We increased the room size from the original high rises to be able to better handle the occasional triple within the room. Now we find occasional triples as a little bit more than I can on occasion. So we're trying to build all the other infrastructure to support that.
And then we'll accommodate the dresser and the desk and the wardrobe more easily than the doubles that convert to triples. It seems to be not quite in the room.
Justin?
So is housing always able to 100% meet the need for students that want triples? Like my premise of that question is, because I hear when we're working in residential, I always embrace the triple, which they quote circles also see that a lot of students, they would much rather if they could live in a double rather than a triple. I do know economics goes down, so the demand is always about 100% of people that request a triple, they get a triple because.
No, I think we still have a lot of the wait list, right, in the lottery system. So freshmen get the triple. Then there's some portion, I didn't bring the statistics of what percentage of sophomore and juniors would still say triple. It's not big numbers, they drop after their freshman year, that number starts dropping and dropping. And that's why I want to build so much of the development you've seen there in apartment buildings, because eventually upperclassmen eventually want to go towards that apartment building. So we're really trying to take care of them when they come in as a freshman and have inventory available for them, and the type of inventory they want. And it could change over the years over time, but we believe that pushing the apartment developments is a big portion of these, 2 of these 3 developments are apartment type areas. Will hopefully address both of those areas.
Got about a minute left for one last question, if there is any. If not, I want to thank, is there a question? I want to thank Assistant Vice Chancellor Angela and Vice Chancellor Beck for joining us tonight. Thank you so much for the presentation. We really appreciate it. And I believe there's a public hearing happening on campus during Zero Week where the community had the opportunity to comment on that housing, the plan thus far. Can you just let us know when that is and whether or not students are welcome to come?
I was actually saying to Mark, as far as the details on
Great.
that, because it actually, a couple of students actually came and advocated for the project, because we do expect some, resistance from some of the neighbors that don't really want to see additional development. Sorry for being late.
So once I get that information, happy to send it out to everyone. If you haven't already seen, there's like a full 15-20 page plan detailing everything. The presentation was clearly very detailed. If anybody wants to see it as well, I'll be sending that out also. So thank you both so much for coming out tonight. We really appreciate it. Reminding myself to send that. All right, next we're going to move on to the appointment section of our meeting tonight. We will, in order to make an appointment, given this is an action item, we will need to suspend the bylaws. Unfortunately, our agenda was not sent out the appropriate specified amount of time. Agendas need to be sent out 2 full school days before the meeting and to all council members according to their bylaws as they currently stand. So in order to make the appointment tonight, we will need to suspend the bylaws. So before we begin, before I do so, I do need to go on the record saying that it is never a good idea to suspend our bylaws. Our bylaws exist for a reason. They allow us to follow a certain set of expectations. These are the expectations that students know they can expect of us. These are the standards that we are held to. In addition to that as well, coming from the ASU-CLA standpoint, the university expects us to uphold ourselves to these bylaws as well. ASU-CLA as an association is in debt to the university currently. If we do violate our bylaws, the university has certain things they can expect of us as well, and it will affect that. So with that being said, it is not in our best interest to suspend our bylaws. However, if it is urgent to do so, and I really want to stress this urgency component to it, we can if we need to. So I want to ask, before we suspend the bylaws, I want to ask Adriana, is it urgent for us to make this appointment tonight? No, is it okay if we postpone to next week and we ensure, I've already spoken to Vivi as well, she knows that the agenda needs to be sent out by Friday at 5 p.m.
No, it's totally.
Okay, thank you. Fantastic. So in that case, we will move on from appointment. Sorry, one question? Yeah.
When we do suspend the bylaws, is it like, do we vote to reapply them afterwards when we suspend them, or is it suspended for the entire meeting? They're suspended and
There's an emotion to read.
to read.
Yeah, but usually that.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking. Okay, thank you.
So you're not throwing out the bylaws in all aspects of the way you hold your meeting. You're simply taking a vote that says by 2/3 majority, supermajority, you are agreeing to do something specific that the bylaws would not have allowed. So in this case, if by 2/3 you had voted, it would be to suspend the bylaws to allow a vote on an appointment where the agenda didn't go out 2 days in advance and was not noted as an action.
Big question. I thought it was the consent item.
So it's still,
Is that still the
it's
same?
still taking action,
Oh,
right?
so
You're
you
still
didn't valid
voting.
vote.
Well, no, you do, but a consent is a vote, it's just a different type of vote.
Okay.
If there was any opposition, then you wouldn't have consent and it would be approved. So the asterisks and the hashtags do need to consistently be put on the agenda for all appointments to indicate which type of vote they are. Every action item needs to have the asterisk. Every consent item needs to have the hashtag. If those are missing on the agenda, even if the agenda was out on time, you still have to suspend the bylaws in order to take the action or the consent motion, because the agenda would not have indicated to your constituents that there would actually be votes happening.
We should definitely stick with those attributes because they make a lot of sense now that I look at them.
Thank you, Adriana, for understanding.
Yes.
In that case, we're going to move on to officer and member reports, beginning with the office of the president. Just a few updates this week. We had a meeting with Vice Chancellor Khan talking about obviously DACA, Title IX, and free speech events they're planning for October. Met with Carmina Marco from Local Affairs. This is especially important for anyone living in the apartments areas. It is illegal to just dump furniture out on the street. You can be fined and jailed for up to 6 months if you are caught doing so. There is a very easy process by which you can have someone come pick it up for you for free. There is a phone number that you can call, there is a phone number you can text, and there's an app that will come do it for you. So we're currently working on a graphic that can be shared widely for everyone. If we can all just even let our friends know. I know I'm guilty of it as well. We're all moving, it's a difficult time. We should definitely let everyone know as soon as possible. No one needs to incur a hefty fine or potentially jail time. And beyond that as well, Vivi and I both met with Joshua Connor and LT from Up on the Hill, talked about the Westwood Block Party. In terms of USAC's involvement, if anyone is interested in being involved, this is really an opportunity for, they stressed to us, this is really an opportunity for Westwood to interact with students. And so they will not be having any student groups tabling at this event because they also wanted to respect the enormous activities fair and that being the place for that. So USAC will not be having a table there. However, there is an opportunity to volunteer at the event. It's a great opportunity to meet incoming students, talk to them then. It's going to happen right after Welcome to Bruin Life, which is that Sunday at 2 p.m. So 2 to 4 will be Welcome to Bruin Life, and afterwards all students will be invited to the block party. It honestly sounds amazing. There will be a petting zoo. Whole Foods is going to turn into a nightclub, apparently. There's going to be great deals from different vendors in Westwood. Yeah, I know. It's very interesting. It's very exciting to hear. So A, would recommend everyone check it out. B, if anyone's interested in volunteering, let them know. And they've also expressed that they're interested in coming to one of our future meetings to talk about how we can best support OCHC all around the work and how they can support us as well. So that's it from me. Any questions? Yeah, absolutely.
How's the furniture disposed of? How's it disposed of, the furniture?
Oh, I don't want to answer incorrectly because I'm not sure, but I can send you to the right people to answer.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is there a set schedule for what's happening 0 week? Or where's that posted?
So I believe you can just Google it. And just
0 week 2017 or something?
Is
Okay.
it?
So there is a trade room welcome website, but it hasn't been put up yet.
Okay, because I kind of hear what's gonna happen, but I have no idea.
I actually think that someone posted about it in the class of 2021 yesterday, and LT, who's part of the first year experience, mentioned that they haven't yet, they're running a little late on publishing it, so it should be up soon.
Okay.
So maybe if whoever sees it first, if you could send it to the group so we can all see it, that would be great. Any other questions? Great, thank you. Vivi's not here today, so we're going to move on from her presentation and move to EVP.
So I have a couple updates from the last 2.5 weeks. So at the beginning of September, we made about 4 in-district office visits to do lobbying. Most of that was around financial aid legislation. But one of the things that's kind of funky about the Pell Grant right now is that if you use it for certain non-specified uses such as housing, you actually can get taxed on that because it's considered taxable income. And so we identified a couple pieces of pretty non-controversial legislation that's kind of been under the radar. So mostly we were talking about those. And then of course, immigration spent a really big thing just in the last month. I'm sure you all have heard about how the University of California system is suing the Trump administration as well as the state of California's attorney general. So that's something we're following closely. Another thing that another thing is that the state legislative cycle ends this Friday, meaning that any bills that have yet to be passed will be dead if they don't pass by Friday. And so there's a couple bills that we've been following pretty closely. SB 54, which is of course a Sanctuary California bill. Unfortunately, another bill called SB 6, which would have provided funding for legal services for undocumented students, was basically stripped of its language and replaced with a lot of things that it wasn't originally intended for, so we're not really supporting that in its current state. And then just today, there was the announcement that there was a last-minute bill that would provide up to $30 million of aid for undocumented students. $1 million of that specifically would go to the University of California system, and so The state legislature has until Friday to pass those bills. If not, then they're basically dead and we'll have to wait all day until next year. So we're really pushing for those, especially because if if you meet anyone and they don't know this, if their DACA expires between now and March of 2018, they have until the first week of October to renew DACA. And so if there's any sort of way in which, they need help with accessing funding for their DACA renewals or things like that, I know we're going to talk about it a little later on, but definitely connect them to our office. We're trying to find ways to work around our funding and try to support students. We also met with Senator Feinstein's office 2 weeks ago, and they told us that they also offer free immigration legal counseling resources. They're also only about 1.5 miles from campus, so if anyone needs those services, let us know. We can also try to find transportation for them. Three more things. So we had the UCSA board meeting this past weekend. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend, but my proxy was there. And kind of the big thing that happened out of that was that we hashed out specific campaign details for the 3 UC-wide campaigns this year. First one is SOS, which is Sustain Our Students carryover from last year. Second one is 3D, which is focusing on making the campus more accessible for differently abled and disabled students. And the third one is we transitioned Reignite, which is a diversity campaign, into a long-term standing campaign. Right now, we're going to be focusing on the 3D campaign. So if you know of any students with experience in disability justice, please let me know, just because I honestly don't have much experience in this field, and I don't want to step in and try to do this if other folks obviously have been doing it way longer. Last 2 things. So UC Regents meeting is happening this Wednesday and Thursday at UCSD. We have a bus that's set to leave from UCLA tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. on Ironfield. We still have open seats, so if you want to go, just let me know so we can add you to the list. But basically, we're organizing an action there with other UCs in relation to labor rights as well as sanctuary campus demands. Final thing is that next week, we are holding a closed town hall between Congressman Ted Lieu and also undocumented students on our campus. So we work with the undocumented student program to put this on. Basically, it's a closed private event, so media won't be allowed, and that will be a very intimate space so that students can directly give the congressman feedback in terms of things that they want to see happen. That's it for me.
Thank you. Any questions? I just have a comment, I'll be there, so if you guys have any other questions regarding that, I don't know, what we're, but I know about it, because I was invited, okay, but yeah, just mention. Okay. Any other questions? Is that town hall that you mentioned open to us as council members to come and listen?
So they
asked no.
Yeah, so they wanted to keep it only to documented students. Originally, so I just had our office attend for the event. They did ask me to attend, which is the reason why I'm going, but other than that, we're trying to keep it only to documents.
Understood. And regarding 3D, there is a campus committee on disability that we actually appoint students to. So if you want to talk to students who are either on the committee already or have been, that might be a good avenue to go about. And with regard to SB 54 and that new bill for the $30 million, is there any way that we as a council or our offices can support your work in lobbying for this?
Yeah, I think actually, so either tomorrow night, actually, it would be great if they would be willing to sign on to a letter that we're planning on sending over to the governor's office. Just because, especially with SB 54, their office has been very wishy-washy about it. UCOP actually hasn't committed to supporting SB 54. And so that's not something that they've been prioritizing. So if you all would be willing to sign on to that once we have that draft letter ready, not the specific thing.
Thank you. There are no other questions. Thank you, Claire. We're going to move on to AAC.
Okay, so I have a lot of things on, and I just okay, so Notebook Drive, first 2 days of school, breast cancer awareness in October. And then International Education Week, anyone is welcome to come through. I have the list of events in the office I can pull up, and then we can kind of collaborate. I know AAC will be doing a lot of things on Broom Walk to get people into those different spaces. The theme is going global, so we're trying to make sure that we have the UCLA campus as a whole understand that international students that are here add to the diversity of our education, as well as students that are going. There's a statistic that students I can't pull up right now. But students that go abroad from the US or from the US or abroad in general do have better retention rates when they come back. So that's something that we'll also try and craft throughout the education in November. class planning and enrollment. We sent a list of canceled classes and student concerns to those classes to the Dean of Enrollment. And we'll have an open forum out where students can discuss their enrollment issues in winter after their enrollment session is over, to also clock those canceled classes and then also talk about the professors on the other end that didn't know that their class was getting canceled either. And then we're also making sure that the registrar sends emails 2 weeks in advance of those appointments for registering for classes. For the UC Academic Guild, we're all working on drafting a resolution that we're trying to pass on the same day that promotes the sanctuary campus. And then also we are working on a list of demands for academic facilities across the UC, because a lot of the time, a lot of the things that I've realized throughout this whole summer is that not only it's not an isolated incident that UCLA has our academic facilities underfunded and underspaced, it's a UC-wide issue. So having the academic guild sign on to a list of demands, and also having those the people that are in charge of those different spaces on different UC campuses signing on to that list of demands and sending it to UCOP. Community outreach, we have our survey out for the Mother Orders Access projects, and then we're also we have just finished finally our grant writing for our SAT prep books that will be sent to those access projects high schools. And then we're trying to make sure that there's also a curriculum available for them to make sure that with those books, they're able to actually use them, not just have them, and know how to navigate them. And then so for academic outreach, so the Chem department has finally our physical science representative. We have a representative from each of the divisions of the colleges, including like arts and architecture, engineering, film and TV, theater, film and TV. So all of those are encompassed within the office. The chemistry department, our physical science person, told us about the department putting all of their resources online, or trying to make sure that all the resources online, and a fun tidbit to their syllabi, making sure that they hold professors accountable to if they're getting a profit from students buying their books. That's also on their syllabi. So what we're doing with all our reps is making sure that they're meeting with the department heads and making sure that they explicitly list the same demands that the chemistry department has just put in place. We are working with, currently, like with humanities and social sciences, they kind of already do that. So what we're doing is making sure that it's an explicitly sent email to the professors that they know that their syllabi will have to be changed if they're getting a profit from the students. And then academic facilities, just a small list of them: the Undergraduate Writing Center, the Broome Resource Center, and the Transfer Center. A number of facilities are very underfunded within just UCLA, and we'll continue with our campus partners to sign a list of demands specific to this campus. And then we're also making sure that the UC Academic Guild is signing onto their own demands of like the encompassing UC. And then the other part of academic facilities is we are making sure that Powell not only is the log thing for how many students are in Powell at a certain time will be up, but we're also asking them to, we're working with them to add more tables where we can, because I know that Powell is removing, I think, 8 of their book stacks within the bottom level, and we're trying to find some type of way that we can get funding for tables and chairs, or trying to get them from different camps and things that we're saying. I think that's also always important as well. Sanctuary campus, we have so ideas of having a food sale on September 25th. What we're doing on our end is we have a shirt design that's going to be available for pre-sale on September 27th. So you can pre-sale those, order those shirts. This is Defend DACA. We've worked with Ideas and USP to make the shirts in general, and we will be having, we're working with USP to create an account. Ideas has an account right now, so then the pre-sale money will go into there. Then we're able to funnel the money into USP's discretionary, so we can, we're fundraising for the DACA renewals before October 5th. Our plan is to end our fundraiser, so we're going to do, there's a volunteer list out right now. It's on the AAC website, it's on the USAC Facebook page, it's on my personal page. Please have your friends sign up, please share it. We have about 25 people that are going to volunteer right now. What we're doing is kind of the groundwork for fruit sales, cutting up fruit, buying fruit, getting other people on different sides of just fundraising in general, and like getting people on Broome Walk and things like that. I'm working with some people at USC because right now their campus is actually like up and running, right? Like they have students on campus. And so what we're trying to do is make a very shirt that's very simplistic and that doesn't say UCLA on it, so that students at USC can also buy it, and then we can provide our students with the money that they need to renew their document. So I'm working with the USC permit staff and like the guys at the friends that are trying to help over there. And then yes, we're ending our fundraiser, I think, or fundraising efforts. So try and make as many as you can, but the week before, so that September 29th is when we're kind of going to slow down on most of it, because we need to make sure that there's a week available for students that need the help they need to fill out their document. If they do need legal services available, what's up, and just to get the money distributed as well. We're going with USP. I think it's going to be an application process, but right now it's kind of, we're gonna finalize it by the end of, what's today?
The 12th.
The 12th of September. Oh, okay, so we're gonna finalize it by the first, we all know the minimum wait, for them to get the money over to them. And then, for sanctuary camps in general, week 0, we're having a film screening. It's called The Hand That Feeds. It's about undocumented workers that work within the US. And then we have our delegate from our Sanctuary Campus Coalition going tomorrow to the Regent meeting to advocate for Sanctuary Campus and the UC Valley workers, or UCLA Valley workers. Police accountability, we're creating a forum right now that will be timestamped, so it'll be timed and dated, that students can fill out for students that have felt that UCPD has treated an incident with a breach of protocol, or have felt unsafe within the UCPD's presence, whether that be at a protest, whether that be able to run the street. We're trying to make the link be available on not only the UCLA page, not only the UCPD page, but also the UCLA partners pages, so they can click the link and know that they can put those accounts available. And then, so what we're trying to do as well is, I know that there is a police chief accountability council right now. What we're doing within the office is looking through those bylaws to make sure that student voices can be heard, because I know that in the past, these types of things are usually created by UCPD for UCPD, and already having someone that has been on that council from the undercommons and has called out the police chief and people that are representative from that council that haven't even showed up. So they can't have a conversation about the police if they're not present, and they can't get the opinions from them. So what we're doing with this forum is we're not only sending it to the police chief, because usually that's where the incidents go, we're sending it to the vice chancellor's office, as well as I think a couple of deans have talked about being able to receive the form as well and look at it, just so there's accountability in that. But we're trying to do more things right now. It's kind of in the works. If anyone wants to jump in that knows anything about safety, please do. And then, so I'm going to be doing this every week because, I mean, right now the form is not up. 2 students this past week were asked to present their Bruin card. One was obtained and handcuffs were put on. For an amount of, for an amount of time, about 30 minutes. And for a student, that was for the student that wasn't able to present their Bruin card because they were at orientation. What they did was present their Bruin key, and this has happened twice already. For the student that was able to present their Bruin card, then an amount of 5 questions had occurred after. I don't understand, and this can be on the record, UCPD can be listening. I don't understand why they have to question the student. You can ask them for their Bruin card when they're saying they're UCLA student just walking back from home, or walking back from class. And that hopefully will be discussed within the coming months. But yeah, I won't stop giving those incidents because those are important and we need to start talking about them, because right now, UCPD isn't doing their job and they're not taking students for safe campus.
Thank you, Divya. Any questions?
For the page, for the form scholarship for fundraisers, is that the one that's talking about? Because that's the one, I saw the bottom of their circle.
Oh, there are 2. Yeah, there are 2. Sign up for either, they all go to the same data.
Okay.
Yeah. There's one on the AAC page, that's the one that Audrey made. Oh, also, while I'm still on this whole thing. Secretary of Education put out a bullshit response to her Title IX shit. So what we're doing with the AAC office is we're making sure that we work with the syllabi reform that we're doing right now with mental health resources and trying to put Title IX resources on there with Christina Lee as well. So we got PCC working with that. But yeah, just like scrolling through this, like, a lot of shit has been happening. I hope we're able to decompress after this. It's right here. So this is kind of what it has the same, it looks the same. It's just like the same background, the same gray, regardless of what form it is. Yeah. Anything else?
Justin?
Yeah, so on PAL, you brought up, speaking of PAL. Oh yeah, the 8 book stacks that they're removing in the bottom floor, are they just freeing up space or are they replacing them with
Yeah,
something?
they're freeing up space. I'm not sure if they're moving more book stacks in, but since they're moving them, I'm asking them to make sure that we know what's happening with that. So if we need to, if we're able to get tables or not. I know YRL is also trying to move their things around, and we're trying to make sure that if we, because with a lot of these spaces on campus, they don't have set furniture. Like in this building, you would need a set type of furniture, right? But in Powell and spaces like YRL, you kind of collaborate with what you got. So if we do have tables and chairs that are just kind of laying around, they would be able to be like, okay, yeah, you can put that table there. Like that's it.
And then a second thing on PAL, I remember hearing way back when that they were gonna blow out like that main wall in PAL when you walk in to make it like an across the campus space. You know what I mean? Like you know how PAL connects to the back of South Campus as well? They're gonna blow out that middle wall. Have you heard anything about that?
They can't blow out any walls because that's a historical landmark. So if they're about to do that, they would like lose their historical landmark status.
Actually, I think that's exactly what the Dino librarian said.
Yeah, so like if they were ever to touch Powell, like they literally when they had to renovate Powell, they took out every brick and they like numbered it because they didn't want to lose it. Yeah. So
Is that
a true one?
Yeah, it is. Isn't that funny? I took it to the store recently, and we're trying to change them too. But yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that was a little tidbit. Thanks.
So they're keeping that wall.
They can't. They're not going to renovate Powell anytime.
And then when we're talking about libraries, are you familiar with SLRF down on the hill, the Southern Regional Library?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Weird.
If you could look into that, see what they're doing.
Yeah, no, I know. So Jared is looking into it's such a casual conversation. Jared is on record. He is dope. He's looking into making that a study space. We're trying to make sure that we can move some things around to make it more student-centric, because I know that they can move some walls, and I know that a lot of those things, I think I talked to Zara about it too. You're familiar with that, it's like Hedwig, right? Or it's some library.
It's around that lot 15, which
yeah,
actually
yeah, he was talking about it. But yeah, so I mean, we're trying to work on it. We're trying to see what we can do. And the hills they're a little bit easier to work with than the libraries, because libraries have a lot of jurisdiction over their space.
And then the last comment I was going to make, thank you for bringing the forum things to the table, because I think that's a conversation that we can continue to have. Maybe we look into like maybe a permanent forum that we can have.
Yeah,
reporting
so
system.
that's kind of what we're trying to do. And then once the form's out there, we're trying to make sure, because it's like gonna start a forum right on Facebook and stuff, and then we're trying to get UCLA or the webmasters or different things. I know that I had some within like campus partners like the BRC and stuff like that. They would be willing to put that link on their website. But like the biggest thing is trying to make sure that it's on the UCLA website, the UCPD website, so that we can make sure that students that are having those issues are able to log on and be like, oh shit, like this shit just happened on our site. But yeah, just need to
Just a comment on the Title IX, sorry,
Yeah.
but thank you for coming up and doing that. I think another thing is that I know a lot of us are really concerned about Department of Federal about Title IX, and especially, I actually just learned this recently, but Title IX also protects parenting students and also students who are expecting. And so, for example, Title IX ensures that if you're a pregnant student, you're guaranteed housing still, at least until the time you give birth. And so there are concerns that if there are rollbacks on that, it might impact how the Rural Resource Center gets funding or how it functions. But I did talk to the folks who run their, who provide the resources for veteran, non-traditional, and also parenting students, and they basically said that no matter what happens at a federal level, that the UCs and UCLA in particular are committed to maintaining and upholding Obama-era standards. So if you do meet any students who are really concerned about how that might impact them, know that like UCLA Avenue are still committed to upholding those, even if the federal government won't.
Yeah, and like looking into the BRC discretionary funding, what they're doing is making sure that they budget it so accordingly that if there is something that happens, they're able to back it up with the funds that they have. So if that's always a good thing to know that we have people that are really looking at their students.
So with regard to the police accountability bit to it, if this form is the form that you want to be put on the UCLA website, the UCPD website, how will it be different from the form that already exists for reporting on UCPD's website?
Because a lot of the forms, a lot of the things that exist already are created by the PD and don't go directly to vice chancellor or administrators. It goes to the PD.
Yeah.
So like looking into that already, like we know that there's a form, like we're not trying to, like as you said, like in text, like reinvent the wheel, but the wheel was created by PD. So like if we're trying to make sure that it's student centric, like we need to make sure student voices are in the center of it, right?
Yeah.
We can't be having a form that keeps UCPD accountable if it just goes to UCPD, because it's just not going to work. And if we're trying to make sure that the link is like goes to administrators, they're not really going to budge on that. Like that's why we need to create external links to make sure that we partner up with the right people in the beginning so that they're able to get that information right away.
So I wonder if it's possible to, and I bring this up only because when we were, Claire and I were student advisory board, we talked about creating a reporting system for hate crimes, recognizing too that students may have felt uncomfortable reporting those things, but there was a legal component to it because it wasn't an official form that was vetted and run through an official resource or an official entity. We were not legally allowed to create a form like that because there may have been, without a disclaimer basically that said that this wasn't an actual reporting place and wasn't officially going to go through legal processes. So I wonder, we talked about this before too, but like rather than reinventing the wheel, if we can create a mechanism by which the reports that are already happening do have to be sent if they occur on campus to the administration. And then in order to also protect the identities of students, like ensure that the number of reports reported monthly is made public so that students who are making those reports know that like that accountability is there. Rather than creating a form that like has that legal barrier to it, but also like a form that may be duplicated a form that already exists. I agree that I think the accountability administrative part is really important, but I'm concerned that like it will A, create this legal barrier, and B, reinvent a form that already exists.
You went from, I just need to.
Yeah.
Okay, because we're working with some of the vice chancellors to make sure that there aren't those legal barriers like available, or like there will be an availability to make sure that we can put a form out. So with that, like I'll give you more updates to that, but we're making sure that we can do it. Because the form that already exists, like we're working off of that from the UCPD website to make sure we can, like, you know how you plan like a thing and you're like, oh, this is the event I want to do. Like I'm gonna work backwards. Like that's exactly how we're doing it. So I'll give you updates on how we're able to make the form and stuff. And like, yes, we have been into the conversations like we can't just put a Google form out in the beginning, which would be cute, but I mean, like we can't. So we're working with that. And then to your other concern on the number of students being public. So the problem with making anything public is like, you know, reaching.
Yeah. So
I wouldn't want to make the reports public, but the thing with the council that we have is that they can go to the forum and that's what they'll do is go through each of the reports anonymously, but talk about what protocol wasn't used there. So like we will have students within the panel and be like, regardless of whether it's this panel or me, and just have students be like, okay, so like this is the issue, right? And then have the police chief be like, okay, well, this is the protocol that we used, or this was the lack of protocol that we used. Then we have a discussion on, well, if this happens again, how are we going to make sure that UCP is held accountable so it doesn't? But that's kind of where it would go. So right now with that, we can't really post like a number or like an amount of things because of those legal barriers, right? But we can have it be an open forum and have it be discussed anonymously, because then not only is the conversation being had, it's also making sure that if there was a breach in protocol, that they need to talk about it as well and it's on the record. It's like that.
So I've said this too, but I also want to say it again to everyone on council. I mentioned this last week, but our campus is one of two of all 10 UC campuses that has a police chief's advisory council. It's a council made up of students, members of the PD, members from our hospital, and previously there were more student members. Those student members, some of them have chosen to step down. I didn't know about the undercommon seat, and I'm sad to hear that. So the police department is currently looking for more students to sit on that council. If anyone is interested in doing so, please let me know and I'll connect you to them. And with that being said, like it's only in its second year of existence. They're still looking at what that council looks like on a, I believe they meet monthly or bi-monthly. So maybe a recommendation to make to that council is to have accountability and not be part of their agenda, even so that it's like a conversation in addition to whatever you're talking about happens in the PD, in that space with the police chief and the community relations lieutenant present, so it's on their radar at all times. If it's something you're interested in looking into, I'm happy to work with you on that.
Yeah, we're reading on those bylaws, but for the most part, we don't know how many foreign requests they're gonna get. So that's why we were looking at making an accountability council, like an advisory board council type thing. That's separate from that, because we really don't wanna, we want to make sure that something isn't just a pillar, it's like the main focus of it. Because these incidents can't be just going, like, it can't just be like part of, like a small part of the meeting, because we don't know how many we're gonna get. If we get 2 that month, like, okay, but if we get 300, who would know, who's to know? So that's why we're kind of making sure that we cover our bases, right? We don't wanna make sure that we can just add ourselves to a bylaw. But if we need to, we can, but we need to make sure that there's an infrastructure available that we can go back to and make sure that we can still have these conversations and not have it be just like an agenda item. Because I talked to some of the people that have sat on that council, and they were the people that said, like, you know, sometimes the police representatives, they don't even show up, but I've gone to councils like where they aren't there. And like, you can't discuss like what's happening, things like that, right? And like, that's neither here nor there, because we both weren't there.
I have been to like 4 of those meetings, and the chief and lieutenant are always present, so it's unfortunate to hear that.
Yeah, well, like, you haven't been to like all 23, right? So like, if they have 23, you haven't been, right?
Okay.
So like, we can't say that like, they've been there every time or whatever, right? Regardless,
Yeah.
like, we need to make sure that we can tell these people what's happening.
Justin?
Sorry, and it's been an extended discussion, but just one last thing. So with the police advisory council, that's what it's called right now, right?
Police chief advisory.
Police. Oh, that really acronym back, but okay. So is it mainly a reporting body, or do they talk about like there's other
They
representatives
kind of
from
talk
the
about the
hospital?
good and the bad of UCPD. And right now, they're really in the beginning stages of like getting the conversation started, right? So like, some of the topics that we would want to cover are like, or things that like students are looking to cover within that council that I've talked to, are like police presence within like protests and stuff. Like, should they be armed? Should they be wearing their uniform? Questions like that. Like, those are the types of things that would kind of be discussed within. Those are the idea of like that kind of thing. Having student voices be available and be like, okay, this is kind of how I feel.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to know what goes on at PCAC.
If you ever need help with the international education, just let me know. Ellen actually talked to me about this, but I was in China, so I couldn't meet her in person.
So like, Auburn is pretty much like heading the project, and like, we're just facilitating through like one of our, like, it's called acting and legal, one that we like, you know, program through, but she's kind of doing.
Yeah, sure. I can
So
just
yeah,
talk to
yeah, she'll like, you're already connected, so like. Yeah.
Any other questions? So thank you, Deb. We're now going to move on to FSC.
All right, awesome. Thank you. So first of all, I want to start off with a moment of silence. You know, yesterday I'm sure it was like a solemn day for a lot of us. Obviously, we have students who were directly affected by the event 16 years ago on September 11th. I know, like personally, one of my dad's really close friends actually worked in the building. And that was one of the days that he decided to take off from work. Just, you know, given that we definitely have students at our school who were directly affected, and I think we're all affected in one way or another. Just want to start off with just like a moment of silence. Thank you. So yesterday I had, or 2 days ago, 2 nights ago, I had an opportunity. I was at a Democratic Party event, and I had an opportunity to meet Matt DeBobne, who's a state assembly member. And I was talking to him a little bit about financial wellness and sort of the stuff we did last year in that regard. And one of the things that he brought up to me that I actually didn't know is that the assembly in the last session passed a bill to make the next version of the high school curriculum to include financial wellness learning, like budgeting and so on. So just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention in case you didn't know that. Also, they passed ACR 53, which made April Financial Fitness Month, which is great because that's usually when we do Financial Literacy Week. So we can do more programming in April for financial fitness. Second, we got a few applications so far for FSC Fellowship, but we just want to make sure that everyone's aware of that. So the FSC Fellowship is going to be due the Sunday after week 1. That's the application deadline. Then we're going to get started. And then lastly, for the Parking Advocacy Task Force, I'm going to be making my 2 appointments within the first 2 weeks of school, and I encourage the others who have that same appointment to make that soon as well so we can get started.
Thank you, Aaron. Any questions? Seeing none, we're going to move on from facilities to CEC.
Oh, I have just a quick addition. Zara told me if we could like strike her.
So we're just gonna move on and go straight to CEC.
Okay, but like not postpone it, or is that the same thing?
We're gonna strike it altogether.
Okay.
So, I mean, what we can add is the updates of CEC, Visual Affairs Commission. Update, so you can chime in as I talk on it. Basically, at 7 o'clock, so an hour and 17 minutes ago, we released all of our marketing information regarding ticketing for Green Bash. So we're really excited for that. Very stressed. Today was a hard day for both of me and I. Trying to make sure everything was good. But for you guys, so you know, as students, the way ticketing is going to work this year is Malik and I basically sat down and we kind of wanted to address all of the problems and grievances that students have expressed in the past regarding Broom Bash. One of the main ones being like, oh, like if my friend gets a ticket on the floor and I get a ticket in the 100, 200, like we can't sit together, I'm not gonna go, like, you know, like I want to go as a group, all that stuff. And so Malik and I, we sat down with some professional staff members from recreation, school advisors, central ticketing office, and the way tickets this year are going to work is that the floor seating is going to be on a first come, first served basis. It's going to go live tomorrow at 10 a.m. So yeah, it's going to be
Everyone's like,
like Campus Events Commission and Local Affairs Commission on Facebook for all the details. Yeah, if you guys haven't already, you guys should. I don't know. But so yeah, so the floor tickets, the way it's going to work is that the website is going to go live tomorrow morning, and then tomorrow at 10 a.m. the tickets will go live as well, and the floor tickets are going to be a first come, first serve. So just like you would get like your Coachella ticket, like you add it to your cart and then you check out, and like you have to do it in a certain order, it's going to be the same way for the floor tickets because those are like the most demand that we've seen. Those are what people want. And so once those run out, you'll no longer be given the option of getting a floor ticket. The second option, or I mean, some people choose this as a primary option, is the 100, 200 like seated, like the kind of, I don't know how to describe it. Exactly, bleacher seating. So once the floor seating runs out, or if you just want to be in the seated bleachers, you can enter a lottery for the 100, 200 level seating, and it's still a lottery just like it was in years past because of capacity with Poly. That'll never change for us. Malik and I heavily, and I emphasize heavily, pushed for locations that had increased capacity or just different locations that like could meet the needs of students, but we just, at the end of the day, Poly was the one that was gonna be the most accommodating and the most safe. And so,
I'll just tie out that, I don't know if all of us are aware, like the Broom Bash, we gotta be all 80 chips at $1.40. So like we're in the budget, we're gonna be hearing impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was near impossible to switch location and call.
Yeah, I mean, that seems like kind of, everyone's like, oh, I paid this much in the Grand Dash. It's like, yeah, you do, but Poly Pavilion in itself is expensive to rent out for an event, especially on the scale that we're having it. Also, one thing that we're both very proud to announce is that last year there was 800 capacity for the floor, and we heavily advocated for an increase in those seats, and we got an additional 800 student tickets added to the floor. So youth fire marshal was nice that day. Yeah. So it's 2,600 now. Yeah, I think that's the proudest moment. Yeah, I like watch shows. So we're really excited about that. I mean, I think if we did anything right, it was getting that done. And we're just excited for this event happening. You guys, because they're really stressed. But you know.
Who's performing?
I'll ask the question, well, I have heard of it one.
Pam's sister heard about it, so maybe.
Oh, wow.
Like she's picky, so.
Oh shit,
Pam knows. Pam wants Snoop Dogg, but. So it's all Snoop Dogg. But please, everyone here, like if you want a ticket for the floor, like they're gonna go out, like the CTO, Raymond from CTO expected it was like 2 minutes, they're gonna sell out 2,600 tickets. So have your CTO account ready, like know how to use it, because the website, it's all on the thing. The website's gonna go live tomorrow morning, and before the tickets go live, obviously, and there's gonna be a link, and you sign up, and you gotta do it fast, you gotta be ready, because they're gonna go.
So this is just for floor tomorrow?
Well, see, technically floor may not sell out tomorrow, but it's like, technically it fills up once it fills up.
Okay.
But
2,600 floors?
yeah. Around 10,000, I don't know the exact number, around 10,000 is what Poly houses. So
When was the website going live, you said?
tomorrow morning?
At 10 as well?
No, before 10.
Okay, so
Yeah.
just be on the lookout.
Technically, the website will go live at like 6 a.m. or something.
Everyone's gonna be at.
Yes.
On that bus to San Diego.
It like it was hard to get in CTO, and like I texted Amy.
People don't-
Amy did not text back, but you know when you
Don't text me, because
I'm just blowing it, just.
don't text either.
Are there any questions for Netta or Malik?
Yeah.
No. Thank you both so much. I'm really kudos. That's super awesome.
Yeah.
Yay. Amazing. So we're gonna now go on to Gen Rep 1. Do you have any updates? You're on the agenda.
Oh, I am?
Yes.
I mean, no. Most of what I was gonna say kind of Div covered it with in regards to like ideas, and like having like the fruit cup sale. But like okay, well, we officially submitted the application for the UCLA Spark funding campaign, crowdfunding campaign, so that's like officially in. What else? Yeah. I mean, I have. Yeah, like I'll just leave it at that. But yeah. What's on the agenda? Is that something that I have to like strike out, or is it just gonna be there?
I think once you're on the agenda, it's just kind of left.
Okay.
So you can ask me to take you off.
No, it's okay.
It's up to you. And I mean, you don't have to
Yeah.
give a report every week, so.
Okay.
it's up to you.
Got it.
Well, thank you, Nicole. There are no questions. We're gonna move on to the administrative reps. Do we have any updates from Dr. Keller or Jessica?
I sent around earlier the announcement, we have hired our next Title IX coordinator, who will be starting quite soon. That's about it for this week, and Rob will be back with us next week.
So just a couple announcements. first, since Vivi's not here, I'll just go ahead and say that retreat is next Tuesday, which I'm sure you all know, but just as another reminder.
Oh, no, it's just.
So the two things that I wanted to mention to keep on your radar is we still need to do the bylaw change for SCOF. And the reason for that is student government account cannot disperse the funds into the council members' budgets who are affected by SCOF until the language is more clear, because the bylaw is very outdated. It still reads that it gets split amongst 13 council members, which there's 14 of you. So if anybody is interested in working on the language for that, if you want to, I can help, and we can go over it together. But if anybody's interested in doing that, that should probably happen soon, because essentially it's going to prevent your office from getting the SCOF funds into your budget. The other thing is the USEC Live guideline updates. I know Vivi was working on that, but that should probably be something that you all discuss and work on getting in place for fall quarter to start with the regular meetings. So next Tuesday is your last summer meeting, and then we're already in 0 week. So just wanted to throw that out there on your radar. The other thing that I just wanted to mention briefly is I did office safety checks with our security advisor, and basically just a couple updates. So for that, the main things are just to make sure that like the doorways and the windows are kept clear, and that includes a footpath to get to those things. And that's really important when we have to do secure close during campus closure, because if we can't get to your window to make sure it's closed and locked, that could impact what's coming in through your window. So that, and just a reminder to not put any heavy items up high where they could fall in the event of an earthquake. So I'll be sending out an email with just general guidelines that are like best practices to follow in your offices. And then I'll also individually email you if we found something in your office that we specifically need to address, this way you can work on it. And it also applies for all campus organizations that have office space in Kirkhoff. And we are just hoping to get some of these issues resolved by probably around like October, just because some of them are kind of critical safety issues. So we just want to make sure that every office space is safe for people to be in. And then also, if anybody notices anything not working in your office, leaks, the AC not working, any sort of weird issues, just definitely let myself or my office staff know so we can work with maintenance to get those addressed sooner the better.
Any questions for Dr. Garland or Jessica? Yeah.
Two questions. One, what is the safety check?
Oh, we already did it. We just walked through like on Monday.
And the second question is probably the unit, the old unit that's near the window. Is it possible to have that removed?
Are you talking about the AC unit?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so ideally, if it's not working, ideally it's better to repair the AC unit. This way you're not left without AC at all. But if it is not repairable, then we can definitely work with maintenance to see if maybe we can get it replaced with a smaller unit. They are pretty big and bulky, but that's just because they've been there for a really long time. So yeah, we prefer to try to fix it first, just because, the weather is usually not too bad, but sometimes it does get really hot in the Kirkhoff offices. So if you have no AC at all, then that kind of sucks for your office. So yeah, if your AC is not working, definitely let me know, and I can send an email to maintenance to have them look at it and see if it is repairable. And then if not, we'll go from there. And that would be kind of more of a building maintenance issue. So you don't really need to worry about, financing a new AC unit. That's all part of standard building.
They work really well though. Ours is good.
Yeah, ours is really cold. Like when he has it on, it's like, turn it off.
And we actually did notice a few offices had their windows open and the AC unit on.
Yeah.
So just as a sustainability shout out, please close your windows if you run your AC. And then that will also just help the AC unit last longer, because if it's working harder to cool your room and then you end up breaking down, then What was the process of replacing the filter for the AC units? Because there's a lot of like weird particles.
Yeah, that's probably,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
probably
I
maintenance
thought that was
request.
discussed.
Yeah. But they might be able to open it up and clean it out. I don't know. Just let me know if you want it looked at, I can definitely submit the request to maintenance. Great, so if there are no other questions, that's going to be the end of our officer member reports tonight. We're going to move on to fund allocations. I believe Pratik's online with us tonight.
Hi everyone. Can everyone hear me right?
Hi.
Everyone hear me right?
Loud and
Yeah.
clear.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So the total requested for previous week was 3,635 and 61 cents. And the total recommendations by FICOM was 2,435.
Did everybody have opportunity to look over which groups requested what? If anyone needs it, I should have it printed out here. Do you need it? Yeah. Are there any questions for Pratik while we look at that? The other one. Yeah, so the total amount is $2,435. I would give you the sheet, but it basically just says that. There's nothing on it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Question, was Samahang not approved for funding?
So Samahang, when they submitted the application, they submitted in the form of a picture, and that was only like the first page of their application. We sent them an email requesting them to resubmit the application, but we did not get it. And yeah, so because of that, we were not able to approve the allocation for last week.
Okay, got it. I was just curious. So I was
Yeah, sure, that's
Thank
fine.
you.
Any other questions? If not, we'll now entertain a motion to approve the contingency allocation of $2,435. Yeah, Aaron?
I move to approve the contingency allocation of $2,435.
Can we get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Chloe. We're going to go through and do local roll call once again. Beginning with EDP.
Yes.
Gen Rep 1.
Yes.
Gen Rep 2.
Yes.
Gen Rep 3.
Yes.
AHC.
Here.
CEC.
Here.
CSC.
Yes.
CAC.
Yes.
Facilities. FSC.
Yes.
Seeing as all council members have voted affirmatively, this motion passes and the allocation has been approved. Thank you, Pratik.
Thank you, Pratik.
Yeah.
Yes, before you go, Dr. Geller has her hand raised.
Have you had a chance to appoint your committee yet?
Uh,
Because once this summer, you can't approve any applications unless you have a committee of at least 3 people, and they have to be approved by council before they can join you.
Right. So based on previous things, the committee that was there for the previous year also continues during summer. So the 3 committee members that were there previously have again continued. I know that I have to reappoint them during the fall.
Okay, technically, they all expired on June 30th. So
Okay,
you
because
did-
when I talked to Kevin about that, he did mention that I could continue with the same committee or during summer as well.
They would have needed to have been reappointed. So the reason you've been able to move forward is because council gave you the discretion to make allocations through the summer. So
Right.
they really just advised you until you formally appoint, whether it's them or anyone else. So that needs to be done as soon as possible, so that when we hit week 1 of fall, you're able to continue making funding.
Sure, because all the committee members will be back during week 0. So would it be possible for me to appoint them then? Because I'll be appointing the vice chair then as well.
Pratik, do you know if your committee is stipended?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Your committee members receive a stipend?
Yeah, they do.
So in that case, they will have to go through ARC and have to come to council for through full action.
Okay.
So I believe our last summer meeting is actually next week. so on September 19th. So in order for them to start in the fall, they will have to be appointed by then.
Okay.
I understand that summer can be difficult for students to come in, but they do have the option of Skyping in. So if you could send their resumes to Vivi, who is the chair of ARC, so she can move on with the ARC committee. They'll then have to be approved by ARC, and then they can come to council next week.
Okay, sure.
I can follow up.
I'll follow up with Vivi on that and send her their resumes soon.
Perfect, thank you. And it'll have to be done by Thursday at 5 p.m. in order for them to be on the agenda.
Okay, sure. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Any other questions regarding that? Nope. Seeing none, we're now going to move on to old business. Seeing as this is an action item tonight, did the spiel before, and in order for us to vote on this tonight, we will have to suspend the bylaws. Again, I'll just reiterate, it is never a good idea to suspend the bylaws. It should really only be done when the change needs to be done urgently. As maybe would have been the case, I don't know why Christina's change wasn't.
So this was actually what action item are we talking about?
So the election bylaw change.
So that was added to the agenda much before, like, because we added to table it, so it's already on the agenda as an action.
So the problem wasn't that it wasn't on the agenda, the problem was the agenda wasn't sent out on time, unfortunately. Yes, I know. So I'm just gonna reiterate again, never a good idea to do so. It should really only be done when it's urgent. I know Div will probably hate me for saying this, but given that the election code bylaw change is not critically urgent because elections won't be happening until spring, I will advise, I know it sucks because we had to table it last week, I will advise that we do not suspend the bylaws and wait till next week. In order to do so, that will allow us to not have to suspend our bylaws and still make that change with plenty of time, given that, again, elections will not happen until spring. Our office, rather, is in the process of appointing the election board chair right now. You can imagine we're trying to be very thorough in vetting whoever that is. So we're hoping to have that done by the middle of fall quarter. That is the goal right now. We're interviewing candidates. And I will recommend while I'm at it that we hold off on bylaw changes to the election code until there is an election board chairperson in place. Spoke to Div about this as well. Happy to discuss it with others, but my rationale for that is really just USAC and the Undergraduate Student Association exists in a certain way, and each of our offices and each of us as offices and each of our committees under the Undergraduate Student Association has a certain charge and jurisdiction. If we begin to change the jurisdiction and the charges and the guidelines of committees without those committees being consulted or involved in those changes, we get into really tricky territory in which we allow different committees to do so for our offices as well. It's important, I think, that we respect each other's lanes. The election board is an important part of our system. I do want to recommend that we respect the change, even though I myself, I think the change itself is an important one. But I will, again, want to go on the record recommending that A, we do not suspend the bylaws tonight, B, that we hold off on changing this bylaw to the election code or any bylaw change to the election code. I had the same conversation with Zara earlier regarding not changing OSAC guidelines until we have an OSAC chairperson in place as well. I think the standard should exist across the board. I think we get into tricky territory when we allow ourselves to change the charges or jurisdictions of offices or committees that are not our own without at least consulting or having that person, individual, or committee table. With that, yeah, cool.
Can we still consult like past chairs? Because it just seems like the middle of fall is kind of a stretch. I mean, not like pressuring, well, kind of, yeah, pressuring a little bit in your office.
And I'm hoping it'll be much earlier than that,
Okay.
but I also don't want to set an unreal expectation.
Okay.
If we're not getting good candidates, I would rather wait and put up a strong one.
I strongly recommend we invite past board chairs, just someone from each board that knows the ins and outs of what's going on in the code of that agreement by the week before the entire quarter. We need their expert opinion on this, I agree.
Yeah.
This is a point of interest to Dr. Geller. What is the precedent, I guess, in terms of USAC and navigating election bylaw changes?
They're supposed to be proposed by the USAC election board chair, but you don't have to go with what the chair proposes. So they're only supposed to come forward from the chair, and then you can edit, revise them, and substitute their proposal with your own language. They're typically not brought forward at a time when you don't have a chair. I I can't remember a time that they have been, when there is no chair appointed. But you can always suspend bylaws and make changes outside, but it takes 2/3 and you should have the reason to do it. If you make a change now, when the chair is appointed, they may come forward with a whole new set of changes that they ask you to make if they don't agree with where you're going. And then it's up to you to either say yes or no.
So it's also, just from Doug Geller's point, it's also up to, it's up to the discretion of both bodies, right? I mean, like, there's nothing in the bylaw saying that a council member can't. Just because we're working on precedents doesn't mean that it's the only way to go about something, right? We are a new council, we do go about things differently. That being said, again, the discussion about an election board chair, we don't need to have them to look at the agenda or to look at the election board and look at it in a way of being critical of it. We don't need to have a board to be appointed to do so and to vote on those things. We were voted to be representatives of the student body, and I think that making sure that we keep an election that is based in equity is very important, regardless of the time span that we have it in. I know that this has been on the agenda for the past freaking 2 weeks anyways, and I don't think that it's a problem that we still have it on the agenda currently as an action item. Just because Vivi sent it in late does not mean that we can't suspend the bylaws and vote on it today, because we had that discussion last week. And we do know where we stand on that. But yeah. And this also isn't a discussion here, right?
So the reason that that taking action when the bylaw, when the agenda was down on time has nothing to do with you all having had time to prepare. It's about your constituents having had formal notice that you were going to take action. Not only was this not out in time, it did not have the asterisk to indicate you were going to take a vote. Both of which need to be on the agenda, which need to be out in time for your undergraduate students at large to be able to decide if they want to come and make public comment. So that's why it would be an exception to move forward, in addition to the election code language, which, and the language could be cleaned up, but it says, I believe, that the changes are typically made or proposed by the chair. I'll have to pull up the actual language. I think it says something like typically. But regardless, it's a 2/3 vote once you go to a vote to change the election code. The election chair does not have a vote, but they typically bring the suggestions forward. And then those of you with a vote decide what you're going to do by a 2/3 decision. I will support Ariel in saying that you don't have an imminent election, but at least until it can go on the agenda properly and be put out with sufficient notice is best practice. Better practice yet would be to wait till you have a chair. If you decide to move forward without a chair, you can do that. May not be the best practice, it is allowable given your guiding documents. But suspending your documents, your bylaws, and your election code to vote today without proper agenda notice would only be recommended, these are bad words today. It would only be something I would support if there was an imminent election and timeliness was going to be of the essence. Given that there are no elections coming around the corner, you have the liberty to wait and do it properly. It's not likely to change the outcome of the vote if you do it today or if you do it next week.
Yeah, that's true. That's about the vote. Okay, but also just to talk about the things that we have been talking about, kind of an overarching theme that we've been seeing, right? So just with the conversation that we had about PD, right? having a board created by PD to keep the PD accountable is the same type of thing that e-board trying to check e-board to keep them accountable, right? So we need to have people in places that are being critical that aren't in those spaces to make sure that we are keeping the people that are supposed to be following the bylaws accountable. So with that said, obviously this is not on the agenda right now, which sucks for a multiple reasons, but Dr. Zibby will make sure that this agenda is sent out 3 weeks in advance so we can vote on this and get it over with. I'm fine with like just not. Just that, yes.
I just wanted to throw out too, I just noticed in the bylaws, I know y'all are going to be appointing a constitutional review committee this year, which I don't think is something that was in place last year. But it does say in the bylaws that they are responsible for reviewing and if necessary recommending changes for the Constitution, the bylaws, and election code. So just to throw that out there, something to keep in mind, assuming you get the CRC together, make sure you have that on their agenda as well as the bylaw amendments, because that's a huge.
So yeah, CRC's standing committee every year. But I'm honestly.
Was there someone?
So we've already appointed.
Yeah, we've got it.
Oh yeah, that was our first meeting.
We just have to meet, but like also, I was just looking at election code earlier before our meeting between CRC. So I was just like proposing changes a little row. And we have a lot of changes to propose. That's why I'm like, let's push this forward. But since it's not on the agenda, it's fine. We'll do it next week. As Deb said, we'll change the outcome of the vote. So we can move it.
Okay. So is there no formal motion to approve this change tonight? Not? Great. Thank you for respecting the precedent and for respecting the bylaws. We're not going to move on to new business. There's a discussion on discretionary funding. Oh, sorry, Dr. Keller, I apologize.
Of the election code, so the language on approval of changes. It reads amendments to this election code shall be presented to the USAC by the election board chair with a complete recommendation as to the approval or disapproval of the particular amendment. This shall not be construed to allow the election board chair to withhold any suggested amendments from presentation to the USAC. That suggests it should not come to council until you have a chair. The chair does not have discretion not to bring what you want, but they have the right to make a recommendation, either supporting or opposing what you're suggesting.
Joshua, can you just specify what that citation is?
It's election code section, Article 13, section 13.1.
Thank you.
We still are, we're still able to do it without that.
So it says shall. Shall is one
Shall
of
is
those
kind of
words
up in the
that
air.
we don't
It's a
prefer.
little up in the air. It's not, what is the other word that we can use in those white people? What is the word? Must. It's must. Shall is a little bit. I'll look at the definition, don't worry, and we'll get back to this conversation next week.
And so one of those things you might want to consider while you're considering changing is replacing the word shall.
Exactly.
Something
It's a
that is
little
more
open-ended, right?
Specific.
And we're gonna work on that open-ended until this freaking thing passes and we're over.
Council members should have the authority to at least propose.
Exactly, that's, and we do, under those bylaws, we still do have.
You
the
have the
ability to
ability to
propose.
propose, but they're not supposed to be voted on when you don't have a chair.
Suppose, wait, is that? Suppose, right, suppose. You can like, isn't it here right there? I mean, we're supposed to, but we don't have to. You see that? We'll open it and I'll work on it.
Damn.
Damn, right?
Give code.
Yeah.
Sure. All right. In that case, we're moving on to new business. If there is no other discussion about that item, a discussion on discretionary funding to help support DACA renewal. And I believe that's coming from Divya.
We are again. So what I talked to the about and I talked to USD. So have conversations with USD about having funding from different accounts, like ideas, be able to funnel in money to the DACA renewal process. But since we have a fund that's discretionary, we could manipulate the money. We need to still look on how, but I was just presenting it to council as an idea to make sure that we are kind of on the same foot with it all. But until I find a permanent way of making sure that we can release some funds to a programming fund or a fund of some type, I'll get back to you all. I talked to Beth today. She forwarded me to financial aid. I'm gonna try and find out if we can see what we can do with the discretionary money, because I'm sure we're all on the same page with trying to get students to bring their docket on time. But it is a time-sensitive matter. I'll keep you updated. I have a meeting with them tomorrow, so I'll just keep it in the room. But yeah, let's kind of just keep that on your radar to vote on hopefully next week if I have all the ends tied. Yes, Justin.
So you said there's a problem with if we can take the discretionary funding and put it here. Why is there a problem if it's like discretionary?
No, because like it's student fees, so you can't really relinquish student fees to give it to students on an objective basis. Because like if your objective basis is like visa citizenship, like it becomes problematic, right? So what we're trying to do is make it, it's a really weird place to be in, right? But just trying to maneuver that and have that,
If this would work, but like instead of using the money to like directly fund the top renewals, possibly like using the money to fund the fundraisers that are going on.
It's like kind of, we could, let me see what we can do, because like I wouldn't want to just fund the fundraisers, it's just like that we could do something with, but yes, programming is always. Yeah.
I can make a recommendation as well. The chancellors began like a chancellor's advisory committee on immigration. They may, if we aren't able to work it out with our discretionary fund, they may have the funding available to help supply those documental funds as well.
So they haven't done any action towards that.
Actually, can I?
Yeah.
I remember, so Parshawn, who's a graduate UVP, sipped on that, and he told me that as far as resources go, all they've really been able to do is consolidate resources and policy information, but when it comes down to tangible monetary resources, they unfortunately haven't really been able to report on anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, Justin.
When you're looking at like how much money we want to take out, like are there like some formulas you're working with, or
So
like this costs this?
So it's a distribution process that's like application based. So the first come first served to determine your application pretty much. And once we're trying to look at the number, because some of the students are funding it themselves, right? So like, but we're trying to alleviate the amount of students that aren't able to fund it by themselves. So we don't have a guaranteed number yet. I honestly, like on the 14th, I'll have way more information to give it to you on the group meeting once we like really consolidate, because like the USP office is making, because a lot of entities kind of reached out to them, so like the BRC, the Transfer Center, things like that, we're all going to be in the same room and be able to really discuss like how we're moving forward and what we can do. But yeah, I just need to go and find some like groups. I've done it before with like this, so I'll just talk to Debbie and see what kind of groups we can do and jump through to get this funding to the student funding.
Any other questions?
If anyone wants to help Nicole, you down? I feel like I texted you a little while ago. We're gonna be in the same thing.
Okay.
Right?
On the group meeting?
Yeah, you're in the group, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'll see you there.
Okay. So like this is my last day of like working, so I'm like, and this is like side note, but I'm like busy from like 9 to 7.
Okay.
For like in my lunch break.
Okay, I'll text you when it is, and then
Okay.
I'll call you if you want to.
Okay.
After. We can get dinner.
Awesome. So with all due respect, maybe this is an outside conversation.
I mean, that's an inside conversation.
If there are no other discussion about this item.
I'd be at dinner, but.
Great, see you next week. Yeah.
Okay, so, with that being said, on the other council members that want to jump in on it, like the most amount of like things we can do with our funding that Ariel like distributed from our president's fund is making sure that those fundraisers kind of, if you can, because those are to your discretion. You can't give it to students, right? But you can help students in any type of programs that they're trying to do within the next couple of weeks. So try and reach out. I can like help you out if you want to connect with those, because y'all do have a couple extra bucks in your in your bank account. So hit me up and we can try and fund some of those things. But yeah, for the most part, that's it.
All right. If there's no other discussion now, we're going to move on to announcements. Are there any announcements?
Oh, I haven't. Someone can go before me.
Oh wait, Ariel, I don't have an announcement. I have a question, if that's okay.
let's let Div give his announcement, and I
Oh.
can't see Div's, and we'll come back to you if that's okay.
Oh, sorry about that.
No, you're fine.
Okay, SB 100, offered by Senate Kevin De Leon, is a California Senate bill that moves up California's renewable portfolio standard to reach 50% renewable energy by 2026 and 60% by 2030. Additionally, it sets an ambitious but attainable goal of reaching 100% by 2045. We are ahead of our RSP goal right now. So this bill resets them to keep them up with progress that has already been made. It is set up California to be a leader in fighting climate change and air pollution. So I have someone from the California Senate office of Kevin De Leon that's looking for USAC's leadership and to sign on to a letter. So that's just an announcement. I don't have a letter right now, but I'll give you that letter and have it on the meeting. Just keep a lookout for it. And also, if you have any other questions on SB 100, I can connect you with someone that knows a lot about it. But just renewable energy, and it does have to say a lot when student voices sign on to an agreement from yeah. Did you talk to?
Any other announcements? Oh, sorry, yeah, proceed. Whenever you're ready.
Yeah, I just have a question, Dr. Geller, for you. Is it okay if I know that all things that need to be put on the agenda need to be submitted by either by Thursday, but given that we've changed our the contingency guidelines, a lot of student organizations are still applying based on the old guidelines. So we still want to give them additional time to make any changes if they want to between when we grade and when we make make the matrix. So is it okay if we can submit the final matrix by Saturday or Sunday?
So the agenda needs to have an action item for funding contingency.
Right.
That's non-negotiable.
Right.
Attaching matrix, best practice is to have it out when the agenda comes out. It's not as essential as it is that the item itself be on the agenda with the proper coding for a vote.
Okay.
What you cannot do is make retroactive funding.
Right.
If the date of an event passes, you can no longer grant funding for an event that has already occurred.
Right.
But if your matrix comes out a little later, as long as it's out before the meeting, technically, yes, you can still proceed as long as there was a contingency vote item on the agenda on time.
Okay, sure. Okay, thank you.
Any other announcements?
Just one quick thing, I forgot to mention this earlier, just in terms of legislative updates, so last Thursday, so September 7th, there were two bills that UCSA had supported that made it to the governor's desk. One would basically give graduate research assistants the right to collective bargaining. This is a bill that the University of California opposed, so that our student association supported. Another bill would basically create a universalized way of having either free or reduced transit passes for all students within the state of California, including college students. So they have, I believe, 3 weeks to be signed into legislation by the governor before they die. So we'll probably be sending support letters and stuff like that too. Yes.
Reduced for public transportation? Is there like a specific number in terms of like how much it would be reduced by? Because I know that for like K through 12 students, like for example, like the monthly tap card is like 24, but then if you're a college student, it goes up to like 30 something ish, like 36 probably. So it's like the bill then to reduce it to like the high school K through 12 standard, or
That's
just
a good question. I don't have specifics, but I can find out.
okay, yeah, okay, thank you.
We're now going to move on to the vocal roll call of attendance before we adjourn. Just going to go through it one more time. Please say here present. President present. IVP. EVP.
Present.
Gen Rep 1. Here. Gen Rep 2.
Here.
Gen Rep 3.
Present.
AAC.
Here.
CEC.
Here.
CSC. Here. CAC.
Here.
Facilities.
Here.
FSC.
Here.
SWC, and TSR. Now that we've done the vocal roll call, we can now entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
She did.
Okay, a second.
A second.
Thank you, Justin. We're gonna go through one last time with everybody. EVP.
Here.
Gen Rep 1. Here. Gen Rep 2.
Here.
Gen Rep 3.
Present.
AAC.
Here.
CEC.
Here.
CSC.
Here.
CAC.
Here.
Facilities. FSC.
Here.
Seeing as all council members have voted affirmatively, the motion passes and our meeting is officially adjourned. We can log off of USAC Live.
Good night, Lisa. Bye.
Bye, Nicole. Thank